But for me personally, I feel like, most, maybe not all, but most that are playing on an emulator, they're just filthy casuals that want a piece of the action. They're just filthy casuals that want a piece of the action. They're just filthy casuals that want a piece of the action.
Emulation has been like kind of a controversial subject for a while, but I never understood why. Especially if it's a game that you can't even buy anymore. Like, do you actually expect me to hunt down the last remaining Game Boy buried in the Gulf of Mexico just so I can play a game, the quote-unquote right way? Instead of, just doing it the convenient way? The companies aren't even making money off of it anymore, bro. But I mean, some idiots on the internet, some like mouth breathers will tell you otherwise. I'm gonna give a very simple explanation of what an emulator actually is before I get into this, so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about if you're not familiar with emulation. Emulation allows you to basically imitate another piece of hardware. Let's say I download a Nintendo 64 emulator, basically my computer would imitate a Nintendo 64 and play games as if it was a Nintendo 64. That's the most basic way I can explain it. I'm not one of these like fucking in-depth channels that's gonna go look through some like dictionary or some nerd-ass shit like that. But people might be wondering why emulate if you can just use a Nintendo 64, and my answer to that question is good fucking luck finding a Nintendo 64 in 2023 without selling like a fucking kidney. Like, dude, you'd actually have to like get some dog to sniff that shit out. Like, you'd be there with your goddamn dog you train to like search for Nintendo 64s and the dog would be going But yeah, today we have a video where a guy basically claims that if you enjoy emulation, if you use emulation instead of like tracking down the last Nintendo 64 to exist, then you're just a filthy casual. Oh yeah, and just to throw some more salt in the fucking wound, this guy is also a console fanboy, so oh man, dude. It's just the kind of logic you'd expect from them. Also, I can't believe I have to say this because I think it should be common sense, but do not go harass the people I talk about in this video or the person I talk about in this video. That shit is childish. I mean, imagine you're having an argument with somebody, you're disagreeing with somebody in real life, and then like somebody comes out of nowhere and like attacks them. Like, that shit is so corny, bro.
Now, today's main topic here, and again, I didn't have really a need to necessarily shoot a video. I just wanted to play around with the settings on the camera. But I did want to talk about emulation. Now, we've talked about it before on the channel, and I know this video is probably going to ruffle quite a few feathers.
I mean, at least you're self-aware that it's an unpopular opinion, but I mean, however, like, this opinion still makes you look like kind of a dum-dum in this video.
But hear me out on this. So if you play your games on an emulator, whether it be on your smartphone or a modern TV, or maybe on your desktop or your laptop, or even maybe your Nintendo Switch or whatever platform you're using, that's fine. If that's how you want to play your games, if you enjoy it that way, that's fine.
I mean, yeah, that's how I enjoy to play older games, and you can do it completely legally by redumping your games. Like, you don't actually have to pirate the games. You can legally redump your games and play them all in one place, and there's not a problem with it. Totally legal, dude. But apparently, according to this guy, convenience is a no-no.
But for me personally, I feel like, most, maybe not all, but most that are playing on an emulator, they're just filthy casuals that want a piece of the action.
Oh no, please don't go into one of these rants like all these other YouTubers do, where they're like, casuals are ruining gaming. Filthy casuals need to stay out of my hobby. Please don't go into that rant. Please, I can't deal with it tonight. Also, he is unironically using the term filthy casual.
So, I understand not everyone can afford real hardware. Not everyone has the room for it, but there are some out there that are greedy. They have to download every emulator under the sun.
And emulators themselves are 100% legal. All an emulator is something that allows you to imitate a console. Because if you actually look at things, if you break things down, a console is just a PC with a more restrictive operating system.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
And download the thousands and thousands and thousands upon thousands, the thousands and thousands and thousands upon thousands
Today, Junior!
of ROMs and put them on an SD card and load them up onto their emulator and play it that way. You people should be fucking ashamed of yourselves, seriously, and I don't have to go in any further on why that is.
Nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Oh yeah? Why is that? I'm not gonna go into detail. You should be ashamed of yourself because I said so. Bruh.
So, recently I've been playing a little bit of Emulation.
So you make an entire video basically hating on emulation, but even you yourself realize how important it is because you use it. Dude, if irony could fly, your video would be a goddamn airport.
A little bit. We're talking a select number of games, and I've been playing them on my desktop using a controller that's not an original Sega Genesis controller or a Super Nintendo controller. And most recently I was playing Outrunners on the Sega Genesis.
And you shouldn't feel bad about doing so. I mean, if a company is not going to give you a way to buy their product that they don't make anymore, and there's no way to get it, you should never feel bad about making your own way to get said product that they aren't even fucking profiting off of anymore.
You know I have a CRT, as you can see a little bit of footage here. And man, I've been playing on the CRT quite a bit the last couple of days. I was playing Pitfall, the Mayan Adventure.
Looking back years later, that TV looks so old now, like you'd swear the dinosaurs used that shit.
To play the original Xbox and the PS2 on a TV that is not a CRT, it robs it of the experience, 100%.
No, you're getting robbed if you actually go back, buy that console that's like 20 years old for $2,000 off some like sketchy guy in an alleyway. You have to buy a game for, I don't know, $300 because they don't make it anymore. And you go home and put it in your old TV instead of just, getting the game, dumping it onto a disc and playing it on your PC. Not to mention you can have multiple different emulators for different consoles in one area on the same PC or, on a hard drive.
How awesome would it be, I was just talking about this with someone today, to be able to play a game like, the original Resident Evil 4 like this, with proper 4:3 aspect ratio on a CRT in a dimly lit room with a nice set of earphones. And that would be the ideal way to play this, would it not?
I mean, would that be the ideal way to play it? It'd probably be like the most nostalgic way to play the game, but it's also probably the most expensive one as well. For the price you would spend to get that experience, you could probably get a next-gen console and a copy of the Resident Evil remake.
Not on a 16:9 flat screen, that's for damn sure. So, yeah, the whole fucking emulation. A lot of the gamers out there, it's like they've
Today, Junior!
showed up at a Chinese buffet, and they want to have a little taste of everything, but they don't want to sit down and enjoy one thing.
So apparently now, emulating a game on your computer because you don't want to spend thousands of dollars acquiring the original hardware is equivalent to eating at a Chinese buffet? Are you kidding me? Bro, this doesn't even make any sense.
They download an emulator, and then they download a rash of games, and they dip their toe in the water. Oh, this game's okay. Oh, let me move on to the next game, the next game, the next game, the next game.
Okay, so doing that is actually illegal, and they probably shouldn't be doing it, but I mean, the companies aren't even making money off those games anymore. I'm not condoning what they're doing, I'm just explaining.
And they never really commit to any of the games they're playing for the most part. Not everybody. But that's the whole idea with these mini consoles. It's a buffet, It's for the filthy casual. That's exactly what it is.
Well, y'all heard the man. If you enjoy emulated video games, you are a filthy casual.
But I find a hard time wrapping my head around why you would want to play these games on these super sharp displays when you could play them on original hardware.
Convenience.
So yeah, like you know, this is awesome. Don't get me wrong. It is really awesome. It is. But part of me thinks it would be more awesome to have a Game Boy Advance, you know, the original model, the bigger model, and just getting a screen replacement that gives you a better backlight and playing it that way.
That would be awesome, but with the economy, the big steaming heap of dog shit of an economy we have today, I don't think it's a good idea to suggest to people to, you know, go spend thousands of dollars just to play it the quote-unquote right way. As long as you legally get the game, play it how you want.
And you know, there's a lot of gamers out there, and they use the whole excuse, well, I don't have room for a CRT. Well, that's bullshit, because my CRT is like 12 inches.
Yes, if this guy doesn't struggle to have, you know, space for his TV, then obviously you won't either. Makes sense.
Like, it's not a big CRT. It's really not. But once you're sitting right in front of it, your eyes adjust to the display, and it's just as good as if you had a big TV. Okay, you don't need to have a honking 300-pound CRT. Get yourself a nice small one, and it will do you a world of good.
I mean, it won't do your bank account a world of good, that's for sure.
You know, if you got yourself one of those misters, and then you played emulation, but you somehow, because people are telling me you can hook up a mister to a CRT, I guess that would be your workaround for that, right? But even still, it's not as good as having original hardware and having that original cart in your hand.
Okay, but nothing is better than redumping all of your games, putting them all onto, I don't know, your Steam Deck or whatever, and having them all in one place and being able to play them all portably. I mean, let's be real, dude.
But as far as emulation is concerned, with the exception of a few titles that I'll continue to play on my PC because I don't yet have a physical copy.
I mean, you said it yourself. That is the exact reason people emulate, because they cannot get their hands on a physical copy of said game because it is not produced anymore or not sold online.
If I really want to play most of these games, I'm sorry, and I'm sorry if you take offense to this.
Oh no, you just know when they say something like that, they're about to spit the most hot garbage take of all time. Jeez, I'm preparing for this.
But no, I'll just go out and buy it. Like a real man. Like a real man.
Okay, so this man apparently thinks less of you as a man if you choose to emulate your games for the sake of convenience. And second of all, another point I want to touch on, why does he put like clapping in the background? If this were realistic, dude, they'd be fucking booing a take like that.
If you're gonna argue with me in the comments below, go ahead, but like, no.
I felt like an actual response video, you know, would clear things up and make the point a lot more clear, so, I mean, feel free to respond to this. You know, I'm looking forward to it.
There's no substitute for the real thing. So that goes for Lamborghini Countach, and that goes for OG hardware as well, okay?
While it might not be a replacement, it is a substitute. If you can't get the original, what do? You get the next best thing, dude.
So if you guys out there are emulating and you don't have the original games...
I mean, I do have the original games. I'm guessing there are a lot of people out there who emulate games they don't even have, but I'm guessing part of the reason is because they can't get their hands on the game or there's no way to actually buy the game. But, I'm curious. Y'all leave, your take on this down in the comments. I'm actually, like, curious to hear.
And or hardware, you do yourself a favor and go buy the real thing, okay? Because you're robbing yourself of the experience. So that's all I wanted to sort of get off my chest. I know a lot of you man babies will probably get triggered over this, but
yeah, he's definitely talking about me. Fucking roasted, man. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the video. Definitely had fun making this video, I'm not gonna lie. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like. If you didn't and you think I'm a filthy casual who like needs to die or whatever, you can leave a dislike. And yeah, peace out.